Hi everyone, this is Amanita. This is going to be a flip through for the Apparition Spirit Speak Tarot. I actually got this from Anthropology. You can find it on Etsy, and it's by Mary Elizabeth Evans. 2018 is when the deck was made. She has a few other decks if you check out her Etsy account. And I haven't gone through any of the cards yet myself, so I'm excited to go through. It comes with this guidebook, it looks like. Non-colored images in the guidebook, but there is an image on each page. It says the title of the card, and it just gives a little bit of an interpretation. I'll look more in the guidebook later in the video though. Here's the inside of the box. And the bottom of the inside of the box. So we'll just put those over here or something. Comes with one of these things or in the cards. Don't know what those are called, but a sealer or something. These are edged in gold, as you can see. Back of the card. It's actually a pretty thick card stock. I'm going to get a card for comparison of size. So it is wider than a standard tarot deck. Okay, so we'll flip through these. This deck puts a kind of new take on traditional cards, an innovative kind of way of viewing the traditional imagery, and kind of a different perspective as well that it gives you. It is symbolic but literal in each of the cards, and I do like that it's kind of more minimal. It gives more room for your own kind of associations to fall on as well, with all the blank space in a lot of the cards. And strength is 8 and justice is 11 in this deck. I do like that this deck really does inspire you to use your own intuition and use your own associations and to trust yourself more. It kind of really validates an individual's unique interpretation, I feel like, because this deck itself has its own unique voice, as opposed to comparing to a Rider-Waite-Smith or a Thoth or a Marseille. It's I'd say that this is definitely based on Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's not limited to Rider-Waite-Smith, I do feel like. So we're going through the Pentacles first. This is the way that they were arranged as I've received them. So if you do know how to read Rider-Waite-Smith, you'll definitely understand this deck. Because I do feel that it adds on to a normal Rider-Waite-Smith if you do take that association of the Rider-Waite-Smith card in your head, and then if you look at this one, it kind of is almost a continuation or another way of looking at it. Also, you know, even the rainbows in this deck aren't like full rainbows, and I think that that's like, but you can still tell it's a rainbow, and I feel like that's kind of a way that this deck speaks, is like it kind of implies things to you. You know, the check marks, that's very like an implication, like yes, he's getting all his goals done, he's checking off his to-do list. So it has these symbolic but also literal, but also it's implying things. It's very impressionistic, I would say. And I do think like it's definitely using color to its advantage. So I really like how it's the yellow candle, the yellow hand, and the teal with the teal fingernails. In a way, yes, I would say that this is kind of a metaphorical deck too. And this imagery did come up with through visions in meditational states. And it does remind me of the Minors and the Philarcos Tarot deck, the kind of style of art that this is, if you've seen that deck. This kind of imagery is the kind of imagery that comes through after you have a dream or a vision or a meditation. And if you were to try to draw what you saw while in that state of contemplating that energy or just whatever came through for this person who had made this deck, but they did say it came through in meditations and visions. So we went Pentacles, and now we went through the Wands, so now we're going to go through the Swords. It's very mental. I like how these swords are like not like sharp and straightforward. Like these are curved, wiggly swords. Like the mind can be tricky and flexible like that. These ones are very straightforward though. The thinker. Like it is interesting to note, even as these hearts are upside down. Like there's multiple ways you can interpret this as her cards as being positive or negative, so I do feel like they leave room for interpretation. That something can be positive or negative. Or just, you know, it's both. It's not completely one-sided in one interpretation for most of the cards. As the cards are not really the answer, but this does, the imagery and everything is definitely triggering something, and I know that I can tell with this art that she's definitely wanting you to trust and rely on yourself. Okay, so that was all the cards, and I really like this deck personally. I think I'm going to enjoy working with it a lot. I'm going to be doing an interview with it later. So like I said, I did want to go through the guidebook, and let's actually pull a card. Let's try to shuffle them and see how they shuffle, and pull a card and read what it says from the guidebook. These shuffle very well. And they're not flying all over the place. They're very sturdy cards. I can't tell you what GSM the cardstock is. I don't know the details, but I can tell you that these are some really nice cards. I really like how these, it's like very vivid colors with this. It's really evocating or something. Okay, so we got the Magician. I'm going to read about the Magician card. Okay, it says, The Magician, let us revel in the development of your tools. Now you have all that you need to sprout, grow, and flourish. With every fumble came a strengthening of your hand and an amplification of your vision. It may not be advantageous timing to apply your gifts yet. Instead of trying to calculate where your proficiencies best fit, focus on sharpening your skills. You are still receiving valuable information. To encourage this further, take opportunities that arrive pertaining to education. And at least in my guidebook, like, I kind of had to like really get in the corners to read that the way that as you can see a little bit, the first of this word and the end of that word, it's not that big of a deal to me, but yeah. So with the guidebook, it's definitely not you know, sometimes you might think of the magician and might think like, yes, you're going to do something, you're ready right now, go and do it. But it's a little bit of a different interpretation with this, where in the guidebook it is advised that right now is a time to strengthen and grow and practice and learn and developing your tools, like getting good with your tools, really knowing the tools. And if you're watching this, that's also the guidance that came through for us. So also, let's see, the guidebook is not numbered, and I wanted to quickly make sure. There isn't like a table of context or anything either, so you just kind of have to know it's going to be Pentacles, Wands, Swords, and then Cups, and of course the major arcana first. So let me know what everyone thinks as well about this deck, and leave me a comment. Do you like this kind of artwork? Does it make sense to you? What kind of artwork really speaks to you the most? What reactions does the deck invoke in you? I'd like to know what everyone has thought as well. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and the links to Mary Elizabeth Evans' shop are going to be in the description.